that means it is time officially for Car of the Week. And if you don't know, this week's Car of the Week, remember I picked this, is of course the Honda Element. We all love the Honda Element. The Honda Element is a fantastic vehicle, and that's why we're looking at it today. Now, the Honda Element was made between 2003 and 2011 and primarily sold in the United States. Now, it was eventually swapped over to right-hand drive from left-hand drive and put in Japan for a little bit, but America and Japan were the really only the places that it was sold. They were the only places that it was sold, again, from 2003 to 2011, and in Japan for only like a year towards the later production, towards the end of production. Now, it was designed by Jose Weisgrod. I know I absolutely butchered that, so sorry, Jose. I just realized that was Jose and not Jose. Jose Weisgrod. I butchered that, so sorry. He was the one that designed a lot of ugly Nissan interiors. Great designer. He designed the Honda Element, or the Honda E, which we all love. If you don't know, the Honda Element can oftentimes be represented by a E, capital E. But he also designed a lot of ugly Nissan interiors, like the Nissan Quest interior with its ugly, circular, weird, oval, pointiness. Looks like Stewie Griffin's head. Now, I think a lot of his designs were pretty interesting, but by far the favorite thing that he's designed is the Honda Element. Now, a bunch of other people worked on it. It was designed by Honda American Motor Corporation, which of course you see here, but he was one that worked on it primarily. Now, it came at a time with a lot of other SUVs, like the Nissan Xterra, and of course the Toyota FJ Cruiser, and the Toyota FJ Cruiser, which were, again, more off-roady type SUVs. They were more smaller, they were more compact, oftentimes with them mainly being two-door SUVs, but with having a fourth door, that way it would be more practical, right? So if you bought it for yourself, right, you just wanted a two-door, normal, usual SUV, but you ended up having kids or having a family or something, then you could still use it as a vehicle like that with the fourth door, but it was just kind of out of sight, out of mind. Even with the Nissan Xterra kind of looking like a truck with the rear door and rear window being raised up, and of course the top E-bit being raised up there to make it look kind of like a truck with a bed cover on it. So, around that time period, it was using the second generation Honda CR-V platform. The second generation Honda CR-V was, it's fantastic. Look at it. It was amazing. This was a car someone close to my family had, and it was great. It was fantastic. I remember riding this when I was a kid. It was great. A lot of people think that the Element used that is an ugly CR-V. A lot of people thought that the Element used a Civic chassis, but actually no, they used the one from the second generation Honda CR-V, even well after the second generation Honda CR-V had been replaced by the third generation. Now, this is what it looks like. You may notice that you've got some plastic cladding here. Now, on a lot of cars, plastic cladding is just to look nice, I guess, or what they think looks nice. This on the Honda Element is actually designed so that you can hit things, right? Like twigs or pricker bushes or a bunch of crap in the wild, and it won't scratch your nice paint. Unless you get scratched in the doors. But I believe they do sell peel and stick things that can go on the doors that will protect your door sills. But yeah, this is what it looks like. It's a very nice design, very good car. The starting prices, this is the pricing of them. The starting price for the Honda Element was $18,000 for the LX trim and $20,000 for the EX trim and $22,000 for the SC trim. The SC topped out the trim level for a decent amount of time towards the end. Wow, this is not in order at all. Thanks, AI Overview. I use it just because it saves me time. In 2003, the starting price for the Honda Element was $18,000, and the higher amount, like the most you would spend, was around $21,000. The starting price in 2007, so a few years later after that, 4 years after that. $18,000 for the base, $22,000 for the top SC trim. Then, of course, in 2008, which was a little bit, a year ahead of that, they bumped it up a little bit to $18,980 from $18,900 and $20,000 instead of $22,000. 22, yeah, and they just bumped it up about $100 per trim level. So, yeah, and then in 2011, the last year it was made, the starting price was $20,000 and $22,000 for the EX trim because the SC was gone. So, the Honda Element, it was, of course, like I said before, made from 2003 to 2011 with a total production of over 350,000 vehicles, primarily sold in the US for a few years until they were offered in right-hand drive in Japan as well. Now, let's look at some brochures here. Now, this is a lot of the technical stuff. I'm not going to do a complete comparison like I did previously because this isn't kind of like a it's so different car. Like, it isn't not that different, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about here. Like with the, what was it, the Fiat, the smart car, I had to show it compared to a Prius and other car. This I don't really have to do it, so you can get everything you need from the pamphlet here. Again, transmission ratios, all the stuff here. This is really what a pamphlet was in 2003. You got a little picture of the car and then all the specifications. Nowadays, we care about materialistic things. So this is the 2011 thing here. You may notice that they ditched the plastic cladding towards the end and gave it 6-spoke wheels, which I've never really been a fan of, but I mean, it looks nice, and this new grille matches the Pilot more than it used to match the CR-V. I never really liked these later these later elements. I don't own an element, so I guess I can't call them E's. I never liked these older elements. These newer elements, I always like the old ones more, especially with the gray paint and the 5-spoke wheels. The 6-spoke and no cladding never really caught on to me, although there are some airbag issues. If you just go onto Reddit, trust me, they'll talk your ear off about them. Again, pretty decent interior. You can, of course, fold it down into a bed, which is something that K cars have been doing forever, which is, of course, a benefit of the Element, considering it is so big. Again, road trip equipped. Plenty of sunglasses, holders, a nice radio, everything you would need. The standard car, very safe as well. It is incredibly boxy, but it ain't that bad. And then you've got the specs here for all you people that care, so you can just screenshot that, pause the video, see what you want. Now let's look at the interiors and the interior changes. This is the overall interior. This was from the early models. This one is from a 2003 model. You can see your standard Honda steering wheel. This was in a few other cars. I think it was even in the Civic. No. Civic had the weird alien looking one. It was in the one higher than the Civic, what's it called? The Accord. It was an Accord steering wheel for a while. You got some decent amount of space in the passenger side, these weird little circular vents, and then your center stack more like a minivan where you've got your climate control, radio, all that stuff. Nothing too distinct. In the earlier days, they would have like blue interiors or just plain old gray. Towards the end of the lifespan, though, they changed it to more of a tan color palette. They also chiseled the steering wheel a little bit more and changed the gauge cluster and the radio, but other than that, that's pretty much all the changes they made to the Honda Elements interior. Now let's look at some elements. This is a 2005. Again, you can see the neat parts about the more original ones was the gauge cluster, where it had your speedometer readout in this cute little circle form. So this one's a nice one. It's an oatmeal, 5-spoke wheels. This would be, if I were to get one, the one that I would get. Again, you can see your mileage down there. It's nice, it's curved, so that's kind of interesting. Your miles per hour, your acceleration, and various other gauges like your temperature and your current position. Now you can see that this one has had some slight modifications, just probably some peel and stick reflective stuff, but other than that, it looks in pretty good condition. If you can find one of these, they're usually in pretty decent condition. They hold up relatively well. The interior, just to let you know, isn't anything too special. This one has 224,000 miles, and it's selling for $5,000, or $4,995, so get that one if you want. This one is a low trim level, the LX, I believe the least trim level, from 2009. This one is $7,000. Again, you can kind of see hubcaps, but if you take those off and paint the Steelies black, just spray paint to take the tires off or just mask over them, it'll look much better. And just put the hubcaps back on if you really care about the way that it looks. Normal car, usual. This is how you would expect it to look. Pretty standard guy. Again, this has the more chiseled steering wheel, and a warning. Honda loves to do this where they spray paint over their plastic with the stupid little, gray thing. Watch out when buying any sort of Honda, because it will wear off. Our minivans wore off. Everyone else's on the block's minivans, I'm actually driving them, and that's pretty interesting. It'll wear off. And also the Honda logo. There is some really cheap plastic underneath that crappy chrome plating. And so if you see an older Honda with this kind of tan logo, it wasn't some sort of special thing. That's what my friend mentioned. She was like, oh, is this some sort of special thing? No, the chrome is just falling off. So watch out for the chrome falling off on the badges and the silver paint falling off the steering wheel. This one is an aftermarket radio, and no more fun little circular reading out here. They have a more advanced display and one of those nice little door things that let you know what doors are open. But other than that, not much else to talk about here. Plenty of space in the back. Very decent car. Again, $7,000. It's a very good car for $7,000, especially if you need something off-roady. This is a 2008 EX. This one is going for $11,000. You can see the big jump in price just for trim levels here. This one's also, of course, a year newer. This one has alloy wheels. It's a later element, which means it doesn't have that plastic cladding, or at least it's not painted gray. I believe this model still has the plastic cladding. And still pretty durable car. Again, that yellow Honda logo. You can buy new ones. It's not that big of an issue. Also, watch out for the rear sunroof leaking. That also happens. And then this last one is an SC from 2007. This is on the upper end of what you're going to pay for one of these. $11,000. Pretty decent car. I never really liked the SC. It was supposed to mean, like, special edition. But I think they're really ugly. You know, I think the reason why the Element works and why the Element was pretty, especially in its earlier years, was the way that it looked. It looked very I can go anywhere-ish. The SCs look... You know, they're lower to the ground, they have bigger wheels. I will say, the SC wheels are nice, but I don't know, it doesn't ring in as an Element. It's not Element-y enough for me. Yeah, you know, it's got a body kit on it, or at least a very slight one. The badges are black, and it's got a weird black cloth interior. So, it's pretty much all you're getting with the SC. People on the subreddit love to, all day, just swoon over the SC. Guys, come on, the regular Element was great too. If you actually plan on using your car, don't get the SC, get a regular Element. That's my personal opinion. If you love the way it looks, get it. But with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Car Auto.